What's up, Guardians? Today we're going to go over my PvE Survive Anything Warlock build. This build's insane. The amount of survivability you have, you can pretty much, you can do a lot of things with this build, and a lot of activities become, available for you to solo and work on with this type of build, and made much easier. Your survivability with this type of build just goes way up, and I'm super excited about it. And yeah, we'll get into it right away. So obviously with Dawnblade, we're going to be running Well of Radiance. This is the super that basically creates a giant aura circle around you that empowers you, as well as gives you an overshield and a ton of healing, to the point where you basically don't die unless you can get one-shot by something. The other most important part about this build is Divine Protection. You can hold down your grenade button, and it converts your grenade into a heal that also provides an overshield. So you hold it down, you throw it at the ground, and you heal yourself. Overall, super strong super, and really good. Guiding Flame also lets you, when you melee an enemy, it'll burn them, as well as empower you and allies around you, giving you a damage buff. And Benevolent Dawn, when people stand in your rift, or you empower other allies by regenning their health, or giving them a damage buff, you get grenade, melee, and rift energy back. This is really good in team play. However, if you were also trying to do something solo, like for example a dungeon, this is where this build really shines, but Benevolent Dawn wouldn't play such a big role in it. Anyway, let's get right into the weapons to start off with this build. Number one is Izanagi's Burden, just one of the best DPS weapons in the game, and your other two weapons aren't going to have a ton of DPS, so you really need to rely on this sniper along with Honed Edge to do damage to bosses and large, yellow, and major and ultra targets. This is where Honed Edge and the Izanagi's Burden is going to come in key in killing those types of enemies. Next, we have Outlast, and really it's important in this slot that you get a gun with Demolitionist, A, and Anti-Barrier Rounds, B. This build really is for Season of the Dawn. However, you can probably tune a few things about it in future seasons so that it still works. However, I'm building this with Season of the Dawn in mind, and so we're using things like Anti-Barrier Rounds, Breach Resonator, Enhanced Sniper Rifle Reloader. We're using perks like that come with the Season of the Dawn artifact, and I'll get into more of those later. But just keep in mind that you want Demolitionist and some sort of, in this case, in this season, Anti-Barrier Rounds. So we're going with Outlast. Mine comes with Feeding Frenzy, Demolitionist, and Anti-Barrier Ranger. This gives me Anti-Barrier Rounds. We have Demolitionist, which is super good because it's going to help us regen our grenade energy, and through playing with this build, you're going to really find that Demolitionist, along with Divine Protection, those are like the two core parts of the build, and Demolitionist is just a way to get your grenade energy back quicker, and we're going to have a lot of those types of ways to regen grenades throughout the build, so that when you're in trouble, in a pinch, you can heal yourself to full and give yourself an overshield. Feeding Frenzy, obviously a really good perk in PvE. It's basically an outlaw reload without having to hit a crit. Next, we have Edgewise, the ritual weapon from last season. This comes with the options of Feeding Frenzy or Field Prep, as well as Rampage or Demolitionist. Once again, we're going with Demolitionist, and we're going with Field Prep. Field Prep's going to give us more ammo in our reserves, and if you remember to crouch when reloading, you're going to get a fast reload, similar to Feeding Frenzy. Once again, Demolitionist, overall really good perk in this build. Using your grenade will reload the weapon from reserves, as well as getting kills with the weapon will regenerate your grenade energy, which is obviously super good for this build, because once again, the Divine Protection is going to keep you constantly alive. So that's all for the weapons. You get a pretty good idea of how the two weapons, your main primary and your heavy, these are going to be used to kill ads and slay out trash mobs, and then Izanagi's Burden is going to handle bosses or other difficult majors, because in these two weapons, you don't have a damage boosting buff per se, like rampage, multi-kill clip, anything like that. You don't have that available to you in these weapons, so you're going to need to use Izanagi's to deal with some ads that otherwise these weapons could possibly struggle with. But overall, you'll find that these are very effective at taking out trash mobs, and that's really important for Demolitionists, because the more things you kill, the more grenade energy you're going to get back. So, moving into the armor, I'm going to go over the armor stats a little bit quicker, and I'm just going to preface this with saying that, number one, getting your recovery to max is really important. Tier 10 recovery is super important. One, it gives you 43% recovery rate, and that's super good compared to Tier 9, where it's only 34%. I know that as you get higher within these tiers, the diminishing returns start to kick in, but 9% is still a lot of recovery rate for your character, and that's super, super good. The next thing is your class ability. Recently, with Season of the Dawn, your class ability regen works based on which stat you max. So on Warlocks, maxing your recovery stat directly reduces the cooldown of your Rift, giving you a 41-second cooldown on your Rift, which once again, super good. You're going to be using your Rift as another form of survivability. You can, if you're in a position where you're taking a lot of damage, you can kill a bunch of ads from behind cover in your Rift, keeping you really safe and genning you a lot of grenade energy through Demolitionist, making it so that when that Rift goes away, you have another form of survivability within your grenade. So that's number one. Number two, Discipline. We need our Discipline stat as high as possible. You can see I have Tier 7 Discipline, and I'd rather have this around 8, 9, or 10 even, just because, once again, getting that grenade back as fast as possible is super important to the build. So, getting into the other armor stats. Once again, obviously, Discipline, Recovery, those are the two most important. Whatever you need to do to get to max those two stats out as much as possible, do that. So, we're running a Void Helmet so that we can run Sniper Rifle Ammo Finder. This will give us more Izanagi's Burden shots to mess around with. Overall, pretty decent. Next, we have our gloves. These are solar gloves. In the future seasons, you may need to go to Void gloves. The main reason we've picked these gloves is because of their recovery stat being at base 18, which is pretty high, because we can get this all the way up to 30 if we fully max out these gloves. But in the future, you're going to want Void gloves, because right now, Enhanced Sniper Rifle Loader is a super important perk to have on these gloves, so we can constantly reload Izanagi's Burden. But this season, it's an artifact mod, so we don't have to worry about getting the energy matching types, which is nice. Once again, Recovery, Discipline, those are the two most important stats. Going on to Phoenix Protocol, again, Recovery or Discipline. And then this season, we have Breach Resonator, which grants melee and grenade energy on final blows with shield-piercing weapons. So that's why we have anti-barrier rounds on our Outlast. We're not actually trying to fight barrier champions necessarily. However, we are trying to get that bonus grenade and melee energy. So overall, super, super strong. Then, of course, Phoenix Protocol is our exotic. I don't think I went over this really, but kills and assists while you're standing in your Well of Radiance returns super energy. So when you pop that well when you're in a really dire situation, you'll be able to gen a ton of that super energy back, and you can get like 70%, 75% of your super back just from getting kills while standing in your own well, meaning that you're constantly going to have your super available to you, and that's really your ultimate, like, bubble of safety, essentially. Next, the boots. If you wanted to, you could run Void boots here. It's really up to you. I'm running Arc so that I can get double Scavenger on my machine gun ammo, so that I can get a ton of edgewise ammo. Once again, Recovery or Discipline in this mod slot. And overall, these just have really high base stats in Recovery and Discipline. If you had Void boots with similar stats and no Arc boots like this, definitely go for the Void boots and just run sniper ammo scavengers here. Then finally, for our bond. Our bond's pretty interesting. We're going with a solar bond. We're going to go with Discipline or Recovery here, obviously to max the two out. And then we could run, with a solar bond, we could run Enhanced Ashes to Assets or Ashes to Assets. However, in testing, I found that these don't do enough for you because you're using your grenade you're using it as a way to do damage. Obviously, you could throw your grenade and kill some trash ads. However, your main use of the grenade is to keep yourself alive, and in that case, you don't really get any benefit from these. But what you do get a benefit from is Bomber and Enhanced Bomber, which when you drop your class ability that you already have on such a low cooldown, you're getting more grenade energy back. So this is just another way to regen grenade ammo, regen grenade energy, so that you can survive even longer. And once again, the whole idea is, as long as my grenade is topped off, I have a way to get out of a dire situation because I can just drop an overshield on myself. That's the entire build. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll show you guys some clips really quickly of the Bomber and Enhanced Bomber stuff versus Enhanced Ashes to Assets and Ashes to Assets. It's really not even a contest compared to what you're getting from the two perks. And overall, I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys try this out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great one. Bye-bye.